Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fourth Pigskin Pick'em mock draft. Ben has tasked me with he's challenged me with the task of completing this mock draft by myself, not because he doesn't want to partake in his most favorite segment of the week, but more so he wants to just see how I do, just because apparently my scouting skills has gone up over time. I don't know how legitimate that statement is. We shall find out. But without further ado, here we go with the first two rounds as we normally do. I'm not going to be recapping it like last week, just for the sake of time and less stuff to edit, honestly. So, all right, without further ado, with the first overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars. If I'm the GM, they're going to make the first pick Aiden Hutchinson, an edge rusher out of Michigan. Also, little side note, I'm also very congested. So if it gets bad towards the end of the draft, please give me a break. Anyway, so as for the second overall pick, I'm going to go with a little bit of a shocker here. As far as, Ben normally is used to, I guess. I'm going to go Kyle Hamilton here with the Lions, just because we're changing it up this week. Okay. This is my mock draft. That being said, it's probably not going to go too well, but Houston is up next, and I think they're going to go with Kayvon Thibodeau, an edge rusher out of Oregon, just to kind of fill that hole for JJ Watt. Also, by the way, I don't have somebody to talk to this week, so this week's mock draft is probably going to go by just a little quick, so stick with me. For the number four pick, sorry, in the NFL draft, the New York Jets are going to be taking offensive tackle out of Alabama, Evan Neal. It's going to be a solid pick because they're going to protect that young quarterback that they have in Zach Wilson. And now the New York Giants, the other side of the NFL, they are going to be thinking along the same lines, except this time, I mean, they're going with Akeem Ekwonu out of NC State, another offensive tackle back-to-back. But this time around, they are thinking more towards protecting Mitch Trubisky, which I think is going to be their next starting quarterback, if not Daniel Jones. Still a very, very important need if they're going to establish this run game and continue this franchise move with Saquon Barkley. Next up is the Carolina Panthers. We talked about this in the podcast. I do think that they're going to go with Malik Willis, a quarterback out of Liberty, just because, they're thinking about bringing back Cam Newton, and I think he would be a great mentor to the young quarterback. And although I don't think that he's ready to start now, I also don't think that the trade with Deshaun Watson is going to go through, at least not yet. So let me get a breath real quick. I think next up for the Giants and their second pick, they're going to go with an edge rusher now. But who is the right answer? A little bit of a shocker, I guess, for, in terms of the draft board goes. But I think I really liked David Ojabo out of Michigan, another edge rusher. So that's who we're going to give New York, at least the Giants. For the Falcons, they really, really need offensive line help, in my opinion. So with that being said, Charles Cross, an offensive tackle out of Mississippi State, is their guy. And then for pick number 9, which used to be the Broncos pick, but now it's the Seattle Seahawks pick after letting go of Russell Wilson. I would say that obviously quarterback is a top need now, but none of them necessarily impress me at this point in the draft. I'm also looking at pick number 40 and 41 for the Seahawks in terms of a quarterback, which one will definitely still be there. I don't think that they're going with Matt Corral, even though Ben said that they are very interested in him. And that being said, they're not going with him at pick number 9. There's more needs that are on the board that they will be able to take care of. So with that being said, they really need an edge rusher, but they also need a corner, and Derek Stingley Jr. is still on the board. So I'm going to give the Seahawks a corner just to go ahead and get that out of the way. And then now we're back at pick number 10 with the New York Jets, and they also need an edge rusher. So Trayvon Walker is going to be that guy out of Georgia. And so now we start looking in and seeing, for the Commanders, or the commies, as me and Ben like to call them. So I think wide receiver obviously listed as their top need. I think Jameson Williams is that guy for them out of Alabama. He's pretty high on the draft board, and he's impressed me as well as far as the scouting combine went last week. So I'm going to give them Jameson Williams at number 11. So with that being said, and you guys are going to have to kind of excuse my sniffles because it's going to happen. So the Vikings are up next. They need interior defensive line. I'm going to do something that I really, really don't like. Just because I'm a Bears fan, everybody knows that. I'm going to give them Jordan Davis. He really impressed at the scouting combine, and I think that really raised his draft stock. So the interior defensive lineman from Georgia is going to be a Viking. It's going to be scary for that Bears offensive line. But the Browns up next. Jermaine Johnson's there for an edge rusher, and after what I think is going to happen, they have their edge rusher in Myles Garrett. But, they also have a free agent this year that, is going to be gone, and that will be Jadeveon Clowney. So, I definitely didn't forget his name there. That wasn't me Googling his name or whatever. Don't worry about it. But Jermaine Johnson is going to be the next edge rusher alongside Myles Garrett. So that should be fun to look for. Browns fans should be excited. Ben should be giggling right now, just because right now the only guy that one of the guys that he really likes, two of the guys that he really likes are still on the board. And he's got, out of the next 6 picks, he's got 3 of them. So for the for the Ravens, they need interior defensive line. They would have really liked to have Jordan Davis, I'm sure. They also need an edge rusher, which I'm sure they would have liked Jermaine Johnson. For a corner, though, is also what they need. Just because I know Ben's listening, I'm going to give the Ravens Trent McDuffie, corner out of Washington. Oh, boy. Next up, I'm going to give the Eagles Sauce Gardner, a corner out of Cincinnati. I mean, it just makes sense. He fell that far. You got to give him to him. As for an edge rusher, see, George Karlaftis is there, but he's not impressing anybody. Let's see. I want to pull the trigger on Tyler Linderbaum. I don't know. I'm trying to think about what's going to be there at pick number 19 when the Eagles pick again. What I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and pick I'm going to pick Zion Johnson out of Boston College, an interior offensive lineman. I don't know how Ben's going to feel about that one, but we shall see. Trevor Penning is going to fall to the Chargers at pick number 17. At pick number 18, the Saints are looking for a wide receiver. Garrett Wilson fills that spot really well. So I'm going to give them Garrett Wilson. Drake London is going to be the next Philly Eagle, just because I want to make Ben happy. But at the same time, I mean, the Eagles need wide receiver help as well. And just everything else isn't really there right now. And it most likely will be when they make their second round pick at pick number 51. So just because of that, give me Drake London. For the Steelers, though, for their number 20 pick, they're going to draft somebody with the word pick in his name, and it's going to be Kenny Pickett, the next quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Andrew Booth Jr. is going to be the next New England Patriot. That's going to be my pick at number 21. For the Raiders, let's see. Tyler Linderbaum has kind of fallen. That being said, I'm really trying to think about this one here. I do think it's funny, though, how the Eagles didn't pick a linebacker, though. Nakobe Dean's still sitting here from Georgia, so that just kind of makes me laugh. But for the Raiders, Devontae Wyatt, I think, is going to be their guy because they really need defensive help to kind of help their defense kind of flourish with these top offenses that they're going to be competing with in their division. So Devontae Wyatt is the next Raider. For the Cardinals, I'm saying George Karlaftis. It makes sense at 23. Let's see. All right. For the Cowboys, this is a tough one, I guess, just because there's not really too many people that impress. I will say, now that they've gotten rid of Amari Cooper, I'm not entirely sure why. Probably more of a cap issue than anything. Treylon Burks is still sitting here, and I think that he could be a Cowboy. I'm not going to go ahead and pick him yet because Perion Winfrey is also sitting there out of Oklahoma. So I think Perion Winfrey is actually going to be that pick for me. Yeah, that's who I'm going with. Perion Winfrey for the Cowboys. For the Bills, they need interior defensive line, edge, a corner, interior offensive line, et cetera, et cetera. And a wide receiver too. I think they just released Cole Beasley, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw that. Let me Google that really quick. Because that, let's see. Yeah. Okay. So Bills grant wide receiver Cole Beasley permission to seek trade. So that is breaking news that we did not cover on the podcast. So Treylon Burks is going to be that guy for Buffalo. For Tennessee, they need a linebacker, and Nakobe Dean is that guy for them, at least at this pick. I could have seen him going to Philly, actually, at one of their 3 picks if they don't use it to trade for somebody. But yeah, okay. So Nakobe Dean, future Titan. As for the Buccaneers, this one hurts, but I'm going to go ahead and say Chris Olave is going to be that guy. I don't know, because the thing is that I'm not very faithful in Kyle Trask, but the thing is like, if they don't use Kyle Trask, that's another one of those Jordan Love picks where it's extremely useless. So I'm going to say that, just give him Chris Olave, even though I don't like it. Give me just a second. All right. Sorry. Water break. Anyway, so for the Packers, if you guys have listened to the previous mock drafts and the previous podcasts and stuff, that episodes that we've put out and everything, I've been so sold that this guy is going to be a future wide receiver for the Packers, and it's going to be Jahan Dotson. I'm going to keep saying that and stick with my pick. It's going to be Jahan Dotson at 28 for the Packers. All right, for the Dolphins, this is where Tyler Linderbaum actually goes, because I forgot that he was there. So yeah, Tyler Linderbaum is gonna go here, I think. Wait, hold on. Before you punch it in, because now I'm starting to think about their defense. And I think that they're gonna go with Devin Lloyd because a they need a linebacker as well. And Tyler Linderbaum can't play tackle. So yeah, Devin Lloyd. All right. All right. For the Chiefs, Daxon Hill is sitting here along with Jaquan Brisker. I could see them taking. I'm higher up on Jaquan Brisker than I am Daxon Hill. So I'm gonna go with Jaquan Brisker here at number 30 to the Chiefs. Here's where Tyler Linderbaum goes to Cincinnati to help them improve their offensive line. All right. Now we are in for round number 2 for the Lions is actually no, never mind. Sorry, forgot that there's 32 teams in the NFL. What am I thinking? Okay, so they need an edge rusher still because they took Kyle Hamilton at number 2. Cameron Thomas is sitting here. Boye Mafe is sitting here. But they also need a quarterback, and Desmond Ridder was extremely impressive. Okay, I'm gonna go bold here. Yeah, no, never mind. I'm not gonna go bold. Desmond Ridder's blatant obvious pick here, so I'm going there. Because Jacksonville's the next pick, and they already picked an edge rusher, so Cameron Thomas is still going to be there for the Lions, so it makes sense. For the Jaguars, though, they need a safety, and Daxon Hill's there, so that's who's going there. The Lions are still going to get Cameron Thomas, like I said. And then for the Jets, Kaiir Elam is sitting here. So it looks like the Jets are actually improving more of their defense than offense, at least so far. For the Giants at pick number 36, they need a linebacker. Christian Harris is here from Alabama. I'm pretty high on him. Christian Watson's always here as well, but I'm gonna take Christian Harris for the Giants here because it's a higher up need. So Christian Harris to the Giants. As far as the Texans go, they need just about everything. I think that they're gonna stay put with Davis Mills. They need an offensive line though to kind of help him. Kenyon Green's still here from Texas A&M. I'm also looking at Kyler Gordon from Washington. Tariq Woolen is also here. I'm gonna take a look at other pick. Yeah, no, Tariq Woolen's going to the Texans because I was very impressed, and I don't know. Kyler Gordon didn't really strike me as much as Tariq Woolen did. So as far as my own scouting goes, I like Tariq Woolen more. So I'm just gonna say Tariq Woolen to the Texans. For the Jets, I'm gonna give them Lewis Seen or Jalen Petri. This is tough. Let's see. Oh man, this is really tough. Okay. So oh man. I'm gonna roll with Jalen Petri just because that makes sense to me. I'm reading the player report and everything from the Draft Network. And I remember seeing Jalen Petri at the combine, and I'm gonna roll with Petri. So, oh boy, for my Bears, who else than Christian Watson from North Dakota State? Because there's no real offensive linemen that are sticking out right now, and the Bears still have pick number 48 from the Khalil Mack trade. So we will take Christian Watson at wide receiver. Assuming that the Bears will upgrade their first round or their offensive line in the in free agency. All right, and then The Seahawks are at pick number 40. All right, looking back at what they picked in the first round, they picked a corner, and so they really, really need an edge rusher. Boye Mafe is still there. And also the Seahawks are picking next pick as well. So giving them Boye Mafe makes sense here. I'm also going to give them Kenyon Green, an interior offensive lineman from Texas A&M. I didn't really think about the quarterback position because Matt Corral would probably fall to them at number 41, but we're just going to pretend that they actually believe in Drew Lock, or maybe a trade went down, or maybe a free agency signing. You never know. Teddy Bridgewater might go there. But with that being said, and I'm only saying that just because it's a joke. He's probably not going to go there and have the same Broncos quarterback room. Imagine if they switched, though. That'd be funny. Anyway, here I am talking to myself. For the Colts, though, I'm just going to say Matt Corral is going to be here for them just because Seahawks are probably going to take him, given the fact that Pete Carroll's pretty high on him. But Matt Corral to the Colts. All right. For the Falcons, they need an edge rusher and a safety. Lewis Scene's here for the Falcons, so I'm going to give Scene to him, or them, I should say. Jeez. All right. The Browns upgraded their edge rusher. They need interior defensive line now. DeMarvin Leal is there. Let me look. Travis Jones. But they also need a wide receiver, and one person that I was very, very high on was Sky Moore. He was one of those people that was just like, wow, he's pretty fast, and he had some hands. So I am all for the Browns picking Sky Moore here, giving Baker another weapon, and potentially pairing him up with Jarvis Landry and retaining Rashard Higgins would be huge here as well. So that group would be pretty good, and I am all for Sky Moore being the next Brown. So giving him there to the Cleveland Browns. Interior defensive line for the Ravens is going to be DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M. For the Vikings, they need a safety or a corner. Kyler Gordon's still here at corner, so I am going to give him to the Vikings. All right, and then for the for the Commies, sorry, they need offensive line. Sean Ryan and Tyler Smith are here. They also need a corner, but it doesn't look like one besides Roger McCreary is here. So we are going to take, oh man, who? Okay, yeah, Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan's the guy for me out of UCLA. And then, I like this. Ben, you're probably going to like this too when you listen to this. Daniel Falele is going to go to the Bears, an offensive tackle out of Minnesota. I like saying his last name. It's fun. And then for the Saints, Bernard Raymond, an offensive tackle out of Central Michigan, is going to go there. Matt, doing you a favor. All right. For the Dolphins, they need a running back. Breece Hall was pretty impressive from what I hear. I also hope the best for him because I hear he's a pretty good dude. So giving Breece Hall to the Dolphins because he's Breece Hall. All right. For Ben's Eagles. All right. Trying to see Chad Muma's here. I don't think he would mind having Chad Muma. Josh Paschal is also here out of Kentucky. Let's see, Brian Asamoah. Ooh, Brian Asamoah's here. Oh man, I think he could be there at the third round, honestly, but let's see. Oh man, edge rushers a pretty big need here, and I like Josh Paschal as well. I'm gonna give Josh Paschal to Ben and the Eagles here in the second round at pick number 51. For the Steelers, I have interior offensive line is their number one need. Number one after their pick. So I'm going to give them Tyler Smith out of Tulsa. Now the Raiders also need an interior offensive lineman, literally any offensive line help after the Khalil Mack trade. So Jamari Sawyer is going to be going there out of Georgia. For the Patriots, they need a linebacker, and Chad Muma is probably going to be their guy out of Wyoming. For the Cardinals, they need a running back because they're probably going to retain one of them. So Kenneth Walker, the number 2 in my draft, is going to be there for them at number 55. For the Cowboys, they need an edge rusher. Let's see. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Arnold Abikadi. I don't know. Ben, you'll text me and tell me how to pronounce his name or do something so that next mock draft I'll be ready. But he's an edge rusher out of Penn State. For those of you that know how to pronounce his name, very sorry, not familiar with it. But that's who's there, and that's who's going to be a Cowboy. For the Bills, they need interior defensive line. They also need an edge rusher. They also need a corner, and Roger McCreary's here out of Auburn still. So I'm going to give the Bills Roger McCreary. The Falcons need an edge rusher, and Logan Hall's going to be that guy if they decide to go that route. But George Pickens is also here out of Georgia. David Bell's also here from Purdue. And let's see, John Mechie's also here out of Alabama. So I am going to give them an edge rusher. I'm going to go with Logan Hall because it just makes sense. For the Packers, they also need an edge rusher. They probably were looking for Logan Hall, but it's just not going to happen. So unfortunately, I'm going to give them the Ohio State boy, Nicky P. And then for the Bucks, oh boy, what do they do here? They're looking for a tight end. Trey McBride's still here, so that's who they're going to get. For the 49ers, they need interior offensive line. Dylan Parham is here. I think I pronounced that name right. Let's see. Yeah, they also need wide receiver as well. A third guy alongside Debo and Ayuk would be nice. So I think George Pickens is going to be that guy just because it's not necessarily a huge need right now. But just because George Pickens had a pretty impressive combine after, his injury and everything. So I think that that's the route that they're going to go. For the Chiefs, they're going to go with David Bell out of Purdue just because they're shocked that he fell down this low. I was high on him to begin with, but after an unimpressive draft or scouting combine, it's not really going his way. Now the Bengals need a tight end. Isaiah Likely's here. So I think, Jeremy Ruckert's also here. I really like Jeremy Ruckert, but Isaiah Likely's here, and that's the guy that I'm going to go with for the Bengals. It's pick number 63. And then for pick number 64 to the Broncos, the last pick in this mock draft. It blew by, guys, and I'm sorry. But let's see. Brian Asamoah's here out of Oklahoma, and that's the guy that I'm going to give the Broncos. So with that being said, ladies and gents, this has been the 4th, I believe, Pigskin Project mock draft. It has been fun. I hope that I did a good enough job to represent Ben. Hopefully the challenge was good, and I had fun with it, but I definitely look forward to having my co-host here with me. That way we could do this together and kind of talk about pick by pick. So with that being said, make sure you guys subscribe to the, whatever platform you guys on, if it's follow or if it's subscribe, whatever. Leave a review because it helps, the traction and everything. And then if you guys feel like sharing it on social media as well, that's also huge too. But with that being said, I'm going to sign off for the Pigskin Project. I'll see you guys next week. Free agency starting this next week. It's going to be a good week. So have a great rest of your weekend, guys. And I will talk to you guys with Ben next Thursday is when we're recording, but next Friday is when you guys will be listening to the next episode. So enjoy these ones. Have a good night, guys. I'm going to get some sleep. Signing off.